Yes,
Okay,
just setting up the live stream.
okay.
Hey, Judge.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Judge Knotson is asking me to cover some hearings for her next week. And one of them is on the 20th in the morning. She's got a civil docket, I think she needs me to cover, but I'm on that Thursday. Can you,
Okay,
can,
let me get to my calendar.
okay, I'm about to do a quick hearing, so if you can do it, can you send me a text?
Okay,
Okay, thanks, so I can let them know.
Right.
All right, thank you,
Okay.
Judge.
sure, bye.
Bye. We're about 5 minutes early, so.
Mr. Gutierrez,
Yes, ma'am.
I just received some last minute filings. I don't know, did you receive them already?
I have not, no.
Okay, let me go ahead and send them to you because I just received it by the clerk's office. Give me one
Okay,
second.
thanks very much.
Good afternoon, Mr. Gutierrez.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. How are you doing?
Good.
Good.
We've got 6 minutes before I call the only case on the docket this morning,
Sure.
or for lunchtime.
I did speak with Mr. Chu's office yesterday. I think I think he got sick or his family got sick, so they had requested a continuance, but I don't know whether he filed anything for it or not.
Good morning, Judge. There is a motion for continuance on file by Attorney Chu.
All right, yeah.
So,
the
Your Honor,
quorum-
I sorry to interrupt. I had voiced my objection to this. Obviously, I think I made my concerns noted last hearing. So, fine with whatever the court decides, but there needs to be something in place to where the damage to my clients is limited.
No, I intend to call the docket as scheduled with the
Okay.
two parties from last week, so.
Judge, I just had a call from Mr. Nathan Chu's office. He's gonna have counsel Wild Avila go ahead and log in for him. And I
Sure.
am emailing him the last minute filings. You should receive them shortly, Mr. Gutierrez.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. I'm not gonna elaborate anything, but it's gonna be attached.
Mr. Gutierrez, where were you? I see you opened your own office. Where were you before?
I've been at Falcon Bank as in-house counsel, Your Honor.
Are you from here? I mean, did you grow up here?
I did, yes. Been here practicing 10 years now.
You could check your email, Mr. Gutierrez.
Still don't have anything, but it could be on its way.
Are we anticipating,
Let me refresh.
Just got it.
Okay,
we-
great, thanks.
are you anticipating? I went through the pleadings already, so are you gonna, we'll see what the respondent has to say, but do you anticipate having to put any evidence on?
I don't, not besides what was attached to the petition, Your Honor. There's really not much there. Frankly, I think this can be settled as soon as counsel explains to his client what these documents are.
Sure. Well,
Well, it looks from this that defendant is requesting specific performance as well, so I don't see an issue. We'll see what Weil has to say.
all right, it's,
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Eduardo Davila, present on
Thank-
behalf of Attorney Nathan Chu, Judge.
thank you, Mr. Davila, for showing up. Let me call the case and then I'll get appearance of the attorneys for the record. The court calls 2021 CVI 236 D3 in the matter of Lázaro Mendez Martinez versus Roberto Aliviar. So, attorneys, can you announce your appearance for the record?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. AJ Gutierrez here representing plaintiffs.
And Eduardo Davila here on behalf of Attorney Nathan Chu, representing the respondent.
Thank you, Mr. Davila. And I saw the motion for continuance, and I hope Mr. Chu and his family are doing well, but you were not present when we were here last week. We kind of moved everything around to accommodate Mr. Chu last week and also the petitioner. So in reference to the motion for continuance, that's going to be denied.
Okay, Judge, I just wanted to, I'm just here to urge that motion, Judge.
Okay, and you might stick around. I don't think this is going to take very long. And actually, I think I'm kind of ready to rule. I went through the pleadings, and I think, again, Mr. Davi, you might let Mr. Chu know that this will give him an opportunity to come back the issues. But the main concern I had about in this petition was that, if I'm reading correctly on paragraph 14 of the petition, the plaintiffs in this case have been basically paying for the last 5 years. And for whatever reason, the defendant in this case is refusing to sign the documents that would allow them to make the final payment. So what I'm going to do is grant the request for injunction and grant a status quo with the added protections for right now that the buyers not be evicted or any signs for selling. Now, this injunction is temporary, depending on what develops in this case. Mr. Davila, you might let Mr. Chu know that they're free to come back and more fully address the injunction and the relief that I'm granting right now, possibly with myself or with Judge Palomo. But basically, I want to make sure that I'm clear. Did I miss anything, Mr. Gutierrez?
No, Your Honor, I think that the only thing that needs to be addressed, because I want to make sure that nothing is waived on behalf of the defendant. The plaintiffs are willing to continue making payments. The only thing is the interest that's applied to that. So I would request, Judge, that while the plaintiffs continue making payments, these are all counted completely towards principal. And that way, you know, when we do come back and hopefully agree to purchase and sell the house, this can be applied to the payoff.
And I'm going to object for the record on any request that Mr. Gutierrez is making, Judge, on behalf of Mr. Chu.
Well, let me make sure I understand this. From reading the final payment on the note would have been sometime last month in December, correct?
Correct.
And what you're asking, well,
Because I think it does go towards the status quo, Your Honor. I do want defendant to continue to receive payments on the house. I don't want him to be able to come back later and say that they've missed X amount of payments. That's my concern.
well, what I'll do is this, Mr. Gutierrez, I'm granting you relief. I think that's going to be an element of your damages, the
Okay.
accrued interest. So I don't think you're waiving anything
Okay.
by not getting that right now. And because as you mentioned, specific performance is one of the remedies indicated in there. And so I think, and again, that if you prove your case, you'll be able to get damages, which any interest accrued, which delayed the ultimate, if you get there, the ultimate purchase will be an element of your damage you can address when this case gets resolved at the end. So just so we're clear that I am going to maintain the status quo, and obviously both parties will be free to come back and address the court if any modifications or any changes occur in the future. But for right now, I'm going to grant the request for temporary injunction. I don't know if you filed a proposed order, Mr. Gutierrez.
I haven't, Judge. I will do that today.
Okay, well, make sure you send a copy to the other side, and if there's any objections, send them in and I'll modify it. Or I'll modify it. I'm gonna ask that you sent it, if you can, in Word to me, just in
Sure.
case.
Absolutely.
And then and we'll go from there. Okay, anything further before I let you all go?
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Great,
Good.
all right. And again, Mr. Davila, I know we kind of put you in the hot seat, but we kind of accommodated the parties from last week because of the late service date.
Sure. And I was, I haven't had a chance. I mean, Mr. Chu hasn't even, I called him, he hasn't answered me. And that's because I'm sure he's feeling really bad. He's texting me, and that's all we've been communicating to text. And he told me now that all his family members as well have COVID, and he was unable to make today's hearing.
Well, he's well versed. I mean, if this is creating some, and I can't imagine how, but some massive hardship on either side, both parties are free to come back and address the temporary orders.
Thank you, Judge. I'll go ahead and explain that.
All right, thank you, Mr. Davila.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
staff, for meeting at noon, and that's it. Everyone, you're excused.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Gutierrez? That's fine. I'll call him. Thank you. Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Cindy.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Karen.